smoking, but when they hear this song, they'll learn there's more to toking. 25,000 different things we can make from it, and if we give it a chance, we'll save the blinking planet. Food, fuel and medicine, necessities for life, a benefit to all of us, our wonder and delight. Within this smelly weed, there's more than meets the eye, so much, much more than smoking, it can cleanse our dirty skies. Cannabis, cannabis, we'll save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis, cannabis, we'll save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is very good indeed.
Yeah, we're back again.
Yay!
Yeah, how are you, Wendy? Right, time for Hemp Works.
Hi, Steve.
We know all that. I've got Wendy on. Wendy's done the 710 Canna Kids, and they had the Bloom Festival the other day. Yes, didn't you?
Yes.
What a marvellous idea, Wendy. I really loved that. That was great. Was it a nice day? Did you have a great day?
It was beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We did have one day or one festival in Arkansas that couldn't go because they were storming. But other than that, across the United States, we had a great turnout.
Wow. Unfortunately, there seemed to be, I noticed there was quite a lot of build-up to it. And then on the day, you was most probably all having so much fun that there wasn't any more sort of news media on it. It went a bit dry by it. I don't know. Yeah.
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 We tried to get this thing together within a couple of months. So we were,
Yeah.
it was kind of crazy for a little while there.
Yeah. Yeah, things happen very fast these days, don't they? I find.
Yes, they do.
It's like, even the law, it seems to, you go to bed and you wake up and another country's either gone legal or there's some more good news out there. And of course, we've got to mention that the other week that Landon, no more chemo, didn't he? They're not going to give him any more chemo.
Yeah.
So
we celebrated that day for him.
How's your ones doing? Because you're right. Wendy, let's start from the beginning. I'm so excited now. I don't know why. I just thought I'm really excited today. No, I just had a great day.
You seem really excited.
Yeah.
Colton's doing great.
Right. So, Wendy, who are you? Because obviously I know who you are. You know who you are. Casper knows who you are. You've been on the show before. But just in case anybody, because obviously we pick up lots of new listeners every day, every week now. It's like our numbers are going through the roof. So, Wendy, who are you? And what do you do?
Okay. My name is Wendy Turner, and I started 710 Canna Kids, and I have a son who has Crohn's disease, who is treating his Crohn's with just cannabis oil. Yeah. So I am an activist. I just talk to people about cannabis and spread the word about how it's doing wonders in my son. And
sorry, what's your son's name?
Share Facebook things. Colton.
Your son,
Colton Turner.
Colton Turner. How are you doing, Colton? How is he today?
He's fantastic. Well, he's great. I'm hoping he's probably playing video games. I just got back from Colorado, so I'm back in Illinois now, and
okay.
He's probably sitting around playing video games and being a normal kid.
Oh, so you're not in Colorado with him?
Nope, not right now.
Why is that?
We're separate. We're not separated. We are refugees. So Colton lives in Colorado with his dad, and I have the two other kids here in Illinois. We own a business, and we have a home, and so we are still making that transition to get all of us back into Colorado for good.
So you're going to move to
like
Colorado?
I said, we have a home here.
So
we're actually going to move to Colorado. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry about my geography,
Illinois
because we're in Europe and we're in the UK, and America's a big country, and we forget how big it is because Europe's quite sort of small, really. Yeah, especially where I live, England.
Yeah,
we could put England in America and just sort of lose it in Texas, I think. we would just become another bit of Texas. Yeah, we're not very big. So you live in Illinois, and that's quite a long way away from where Colorado is, isn't it?
We are 14 hours away from each other.
14 hours? Oh my God! You
Yeah,
can go from one
in a car
to the other, back again in that time.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
14 hours. That's like mammoth. So
That's,
why won't the people in
it's a
Illinois?
straight
Why
shot.
can't the, I'm sorry, but why can't you have the medicine where you built the business and where your family is? What's wrong with the politicians there?
Well, they did pass the laws. It's still on the governor's table. So he hasn't signed it yet. But there is a law in place. But the thing is that the infrastructure is not going to be here for a long time. So we can't, we're treating with cannabis now. And it's been working for the last 4 months, since March. And, I don't want to take him away from that to be here in Illinois. So, Illinois is trying. They really are. We're working with some growers, some people that want to license their grows and things like that. So we're working with that infrastructure to get it going. But, things take time. And, the governor hasn't really said, hey, it's time to start putting your applications in. So we're just all kind of waiting.
Well, I bet if he was one of his kids, I bet if he was one of his kids, he'd be signing that bit of paper a bit quicker, wouldn't he? So right.
Oh,
okay, let's get to the treatment then. Right, Crohn's is how old is your son?
He's 14.
He's very young to have Crohn's, isn't he? I mean, one Crohn's, it's only been on my radar for about the last 8 years. I started hearing about Crohn's, and it seems becoming more and more prevalent every day, like everything else, like cancers and tumours and God knows what. But Crohn's in kids, that's not usual, is it?
There's about 100,000 in the States. That's not a whole lot. Considering
because
you're a
big population, aren't you? But even so, 100,000 kids with Crohn's.
Yeah, that's not.
Have you ever looked at the figures? What was the figures like maybe 5 years ago? Has it been increasing?
I think it is increasing. We're hearing a lot more kids developing Crohn's. But the thing is about Crohn's is it's been misdiagnosed for a long, long time. So back in the day, when my grandmother was younger and she was having stomach pains and they couldn't find anything wrong with her, they didn't have the technology. They would send kids like her to the psychological ward because they couldn't find anything wrong. And they possibly just had Crohn's disease. It's just a bellyache.
It could have
for the most part. Just on the outside, that's all it seems to be. But on the inside, it's doing such horrid damage to these kids. And, I think that it's just because of technology and because we're more capable of diagnosing things correctly these days and really finding out the cures and finding out what's really going on. More kids are getting diagnosed at a faster rate. So I think that it's always been there, but we are just finding out that that's what it is.
Okay. All right, well, let's go to the medicine side then. So you're using cannabis. So why don't you use the medicine that the hospital gave you? What was wrong with her medicine?
Well, we first started on Azicol, and that's like aspirin, and that doesn't work very well for Colton. Then we went to an Indicort, which is another pill, same thing. Then we tried Remicade, which is an infusion. So he'd have to go up to the hospital, sit for a couple of hours to get his blood infused with this stuff, kind of like chemotherapy. And that he started making antibodies for. So he couldn't do that. He ended up getting lupus because of it. And most people with Crohn's have RA, rheumatoid arthritis, anyway. But some of these medicines kind of enhance that. So his RA got a little worse. And then we put him on prednisone, which everybody knows is horrible. And he got the moon face, and he was just miserable. He ended up getting a spot on his heel because it was eating at his bones. So then we went to Humira finally, and with Humira, he ended up getting a positive TB test, tuberculosis, and then we found out with, all the research and all the doctor's visits and, testing and all that stuff that it was actually a false positive. He actually didn't have that. We went through surgery with lymph nodes and took the lymph nodes out. Well, supposed to take the lymph nodes out. The doctor ended up taking salivary glands out and not the lymph nodes, and it was a big mess, and it was a big ordeal. Then they thought, okay, well, it's not TB, it has to be lymphoma. So we did all the lymphoma testing, and that was just absolutely scary. I can't imagine what Sierra went through with Landon, getting the news that your child has cancer. That's crazy scary.
Yeah, that's devastating.
But we were lucky he didn't have it. But he had the markers, and he was, if we continued on the biologicals, the Remicade, the Humira, the Cimzia, and there's a number of these TNFA blockers that are called biologicals that create all this craziness in these people. TB, histoplasmosis, and infections, just normal infections, could be even worse than what they should have been on these medications. Cancers, T-cell lymphoma, which is fatal. The list goes on and on. It's a black box warning medication. And
so, in a word, he was on lots of very powerful drugs here. And obviously, tons. And then you're mentioning surgery and misdiagnosis. Yes. Oh, this must have been all you canna mums are just, I'm speechless. You're just amazing about one. When parents, I know I'm a parent, I've got grown-up kids now, but you all say, don't you, I'll do anything for my kids. Well, you can, mum, certainly haven't you? You've really pulled everything out of the bag and shared all the knowledge. So obviously all this treatment wasn't working, was it, by the sound of it?
No. No. It was just making him worse. It was killing him.
Just making him worse. So then
we just couldn't do that anymore.
So then you discovered the cannabis stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could have put him on another biological, and he could have gotten lymphoma, and he could have died. The percentage, the chance of him doing that was 66%.
Oh.
Or we could have put him on cannabis, and the only side effect to the cannabis was that it may not work.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, that's a big risk then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think that we know which direction we're going to go with this.
Yeah.
So he, if he gets a little bit too much, it's going to make him a little wacky. So he's going to get high.
Yeah.
Then we figure it out, we lower the dose, but he's not going to overdose on it. He can't get cancer from it. There's absolutely no side effects. So on paper there's no side effects. Yeah, you've been involved in the treatment. You've taken a massive leap. You've moved a travelling distance of 14 hours. I can't even imagine. You've had to split your family up, split your jobs up. So obviously this treatment in the last 5 months, you've seen a very positive effect for your young 14-year-old young man. Yeah? Whereas before, the medication that was coming from the PLC drug companies wasn't working. And in fact, by the sound of it, it was making it very, very poorly, which seems to be a common denominator across all the childhood. God, treatments? I see it more every day.
Yeah. So how is he on the cannabis world? Can you tell, how is he on the cannabis world? Does he?
He's fantastic. He's back to normal. And it's hard to explain. It's really hard to find the words to tell anybody how amazing he's doing.
Yeah.
And that he's gaining weight. And people who have Crohn's understand that gaining weight is huge because all of them look so thin and they can't gain weight and they're just wilting away. But he's gaining weight. He's grown My husband just measured him the other day, and he has grown 3/4 of an inch.
Wow, and that's about
and he
right
was in
for a
complete
young
growth
fella.
failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about
Well,
right,
he's
isn't
the
it?
size of a 9-year-old. You know,
Yeah.
so
Oh my God.
it's really important that he's getting this and he's growing. But you know, he's fantastic. Friday, all last week, he was at Boy Scout camp in Colorado. And this is the first Boy Scout camp that he's got to go to in 2.5 years.
Oh, he must have been so happy.
Oh, he had so much fun. He got to shoot guns, and he got to climb mountains, and he got to swim with his friends, and he had a blast. But that Friday, after the whole week camping out in the mountains, that Friday they got up at 3:45 in the morning.
That's early.
And climbed. Oh yeah, for a kid, that's really early.
It's really early.
But they climbed. They had a 5-mile hike climbing up Blue Mountain. And my husband, he said, I was just walking beside him and behind him and just in tears the whole time.
In tears.
Because here's Colton just, you know, in January he was in a wheelchair. He couldn't have done that in January.
Shit.
And
well,
now
that's exactly what went through my mind.
trekking.
From what you described from the previous conversation we had and what you described to me tonight, you've basically you wouldn't even recognise this kid, would you, from how he was 6 months ago?
No.
Wow.
Well, they had to come home for a week.
Yeah.
And which was horrible because he had to leave his medicine back in Colorado because you can't take it across the state line. So he's off his medicine for a week, and that was really scary. But we had friends come over to visit because we just kind of picked him up and took off and didn't tell anybody about it. You know, we didn't want to hear all of the negative, all the stigma, all the propaganda. You know, we were just like, okay, we're going to quietly just get up and go.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. But so then once it kind of got out because, you know, where's Colton? You know, oh, he moved to Colorado. Well, what for? And then we started talking about it a little bit more. So we had friends come over to visit. Yeah. And they walked in to see Colton, and they were like, you know, 4 or 5 of my girlfriends just busted out in tears because he looked good. They saw him sick, and then now they see him, and he's a totally different kid. He has color in his skin. He has weight on his face. You know, he doesn't look like he's just skin and bones, literally skin and bones. He's starting to get a little bit of muscle definition. He has energy. He has a smile on his face. He has a twinkle in his eye. And they noticed it. And it was such a huge transition in just a short amount of time.
Oh, it brings a lump to your throat. It really does. Oh, it's just amazing. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to us, does it? Us lot that sort of know about this and have been following these stories of your son and Landon's and Brandon and Brave Michaela and God, the list is like, yeah. It just doesn't make sense to us, does it? You know, how can this be that this plant that's saving, you know, not just our kids' lives, it's saving lots of people's lives, including old fellas like me, you know, it's like, and then some stupid politician tells us it's illegal. I really can't get my head around
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I can't either. I mean,
today
I have 3 people. I don't get it. I don't. If they just could put themselves in our shoes for 1 minute, minute, and see the lives that we lead because of this plant, and then I would like to take them out of my shoes and then put them in my shoes, 7 months ago. Oh, when I was dealing with tuberculosis and lymphoma, and you know, he was dying, and just 1 minute in that situation, and you will understand why we are in our situation we are now.
Yeah.
And then it would be a totally different world because people would open their eyes and see that this plant, for whatever reason, I don't know the science about it. I'm not a chemist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a pharmacist. I have no clue.
No.
But it works.
But we don't need to, do we? Because all we need to do is know that it works.
Exactly.
You know,
I have all the research in the world right there in my son.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is my point of view, right? I love the research that's coming out by the teams in Spain and Israel and Dr. Melameda and all the other fabulous researchers and doctors that are getting him. And it's great every day. But I'm reading things I don't even understand anymore. And it don't matter because to me, I don't need them. I know that it works. And I know people like you, and you say it works. And we had Landon actually came on the telephone last time they were on. And he actually said, what is he, about 4.5? And he said, cannabis has cured me. It's like, man, he's 4.5 for crying out loud.
Like, well, we see it all the time. People just feel better. They just feel better on this medicine. Or I don't even know if you want to call it a medicine anymore. It's just a plant. It's just, it's just good. It's just all good.
Yeah.
People feel better, and that's what it's all about.
Because this week I've had two fellas on, right? One I had on Monday night. He was given, he was sent home to die with a box of morphine pills, basically. He had to have a liver transplant and all. Right, and it's brought him back from the dead, and he was seriously proper written off. No hope, no future, 50 odd years of age, liver completely gone, blah 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 blah. He's up and about. He's been alive now for an extra 12 months. I personally have been alive for an extra 15 months. And I'll be honest with you, if I drop dead tomorrow, I'll still do it because I've had 15 months of fun.
Yeah. And you feel good, don't you?
15 months ago, look, Steve, take this. It's going to make you feel all right for 15 months, but unfortunately, you've only given 15 months more life. I would have leapt at the chance. I said, okay, fine, give it. I'll go with that. I had another 15 days of feeling good on the planet. Why not? Yeah. It just,
that's right.
Whichever way you look at it, it just doesn't make any sense. And then I had a guy on last night, or his wife on. He took, now, as she said, they were the most sober people you could ever wish to meet, right? And he caught the cancer thing and looked at all the treatment, and there was nothing they could do for him. And she went researching. She came up against all the other therapies, the Gerson therapies and vitamin C therapies, and all these marvelous treatments that have good track record.
Right.
And they went for the cannabis one, and he had an absolute horrible time on it for 60 days. Yeah, he really got all the side effects that everybody, even the gutter press, write about. He got paranoid. He didn't want to talk to people. But at the end of the day, he still cured him. And as he said, even going through the worst nightmare possible, he would still do it.
Right.
And he didn't have a particularly nice treatment, but he's cured now. Yeah. He's
I mean, I'm sorry, but the paranoia is almost worth it. And they can fix that.
Of course.
And it's not that. Yeah. It's not that this. It doesn't matter how. You can fix those little side effects. If you are having paranoia and you're feeling depressed and things like that, because that happens. We know that this plant has a psychoactive particle to it. You can adjust it.
You can adjust it.
That's a possibility. I have a 14-year-old kid.
Exactly. I was saying to this fella the other night as well, and I always say it, right, I've been through the chemo and I've been through all that treatment too. Honestly, that stuff gets you, I don't even want to use the word stoned, it gets you so out of your head you don't even know what you're doing. You can be standing up and wet yourself. That's how stoned you are. You can, even there ain't no cure where you don't get, what do people want? It's like,
the thing is that the medicines, even regardless of how stoned you get on marijuana, you get just as stoned on Vicodin and Oxycontin and things like that. So these are medications that I was giving my kid. Methotrexate, Humira. These are medicines that are causing horrible side effects. And yes, marijuana can get you have a psychoactive component to it and get you kind of crazy. But you can adjust it to where it's not going to do that. I can't adjust Humira. If Humira gives my kid cancer, I can't adjust it. It's one shot and that's it.
And of course, this other thing is, well, if you overdose on any of them drugs, you're dead. You overdose on this marijuana, you go to sleep.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're going to take the first
you can't,
break.
I mean, is it really an overdose, or do you really just need
No,
good
it's not
sleep?
very-
You know,
well, I can get
it's
actually,
helping your body.
I can do that on the second part. There's been some really interesting research come out on that. I'll do that in the second part when we come back. Right, hit the break. Let's pay the sponsors.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill. Relax and burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
Even Prince Charlie has a high regard for weed. He recommends it to MS sufferers who are in desperate need. It's medicinal, it's pure, and it helps to ease the pain. And if you're feeling down, my friend, it'll pick you up again. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis, it's a very useful weed. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis, it's very good indeed.
back. We've got the lovely Wendy on, who does 710 Canna Kids. Hi, Wendy.
Hi,
So, right,
Steve.
what are we going to do? Right, what are we going to do now? We've identified that this law worldwide is totally stupid. Yeah.
Yes.
And how any politician can sit there and even, with the information that's available today, they really are showing themselves up, aren't they, for how stupid they are globally. It's not just your lot. It's our lot. It's just mental.
We have 50 states here in the United States, and only 23 of them have marijuana laws. Only 3 of them are actually in infrastructure. I mean, actually, you could actually get cannabis in 3 of those states. That's 20 states that have laws that you can't get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
If you do that by countries, then it really is very, very bad.
I was talking to a friend of mine about all the other countries that don't have laws, and I did not know. He had said that the reasons why a lot of the other countries don't have marijuana laws and it's illegal in those countries is because our country, because of the United States, they decided that, we won't do business with you unless you sign our drug policy.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you? And then turn around and carry the patent on the fact that cannabinoids cure cancer and cure this disease and cure that disease and help with this and help with nausea. I'm like, how? That is such a double standard.
It puts them under discipline,
doesn't it,
really, Wendy? We've all trusted in our governments and our lawyers and our doctors, and we've trusted in them. We thought that these people, and through learning about what's going on, and when we find out about this cannabis hemp plant, we start to realise that it's a can of worms. They've fed us a whole pack of lies about all sorts of things. Yeah. And this is the part
it's really upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
It is. I was one of those people that if you would have told me 6 months ago that I would have been doing what I'm doing today, I would have told you that you were nuts. I'm like, no, that's illegal. We don't do that kind of stuff. Blah, blah, blah. It's bad for you.
Yeah.
I was totally, brainwashed with the propaganda. Absolutely brainwashed. The lies. I believed the lies.
Yeah.
And when faced with a situation that either you give your child medication that will kill him, or you try something that isn't completely legal, but it can't hurt him.
No.
You change your mind. You open your eyes. You start to see the wonders of this drug. And then when you start talking about it to other people and they open their eyes, they're like, oh, well, can it help me? Can it help me? Can it help me? We discussed this. I had somebody come from the UK asking me for help.
Exactly.
And that is profound. That is a huge step in what we're doing. And I'm so proud to be an advocate and to stand up to these people and say, my child does this and it's working. Every day today, I just got 3 other people asking me for help. Will it cure my cancer? Does it help your son's Crohn's? I have Crohn's too. My dad has COPD. Can it help him? I just have a kid with Crohn's, and I was just throwing a dart in the dark, and I hit the bullseye.
Yeah.
And now I have all these people coming to me and, saying, well, will it help me? Yes. And I'm saying, yes. It may not cure your disease. It may not. But it's going to help. And so now I'm researching other diseases.
As you completely pointed out, at very, very worst, the worst side effect of it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So, you tried it. Nothing really happened. Unfortunately, you're one of we haven't got figures because we're too new, the whole movement industry. But it seems to me that our success rate globally for all sorts of problems is absolutely fantastic. It's very difficult to find somebody it hasn't worked for. And I'm fortunate enough because I've made medicine in the UK. And I know people that have actually died, they didn't quite make it. And the families have even said, oh, we're still glad that they took the medicine because it made the last bit of their life really quite pleasant. Hello?
Yeah.
It's like, so even if we don't get the outcome that maybe we want, because we're all born and we all die, you know. So
how many people die on Vicodin every day?
Thousands.
People still take it.
Well, you're going to die on
every
that
day.
because it's an addictive drug. Eventually, it's going to kill you, you know, and it's quite a short-term addictive drug. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I watched my uncle do it. You know, we went through. He was addicted to them. He was addicted to MS cotton. Yep. He was taking 900 milligrams of MS cotton a day.
Oh my God.
And I was taking him back and forth to the doctors, and they're like, there's nothing we can do about it. And we went to, we went to 5 different doctors to ask them to get him off of this medication. He couldn't even talk to you. He was talk about stoned.
Yeah.
He couldn't hardly walk. He was so stoned, and he was taking MS cotton.
Yeah.
So we had to put him through detox, completely took him off all of that. Now he has back issues. He has a big, huge metal bolt in his back and plates and all sorts of stuff. And so he's in a lot of chronic pain. And this was right at the time where we started talking or thinking about putting Colton on cannabis. And my husband just looked at him and he said, you need to just start smoking pot.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But now he's off of it, and that's all he's doing. And he feels great.
Oh, really?
He's back to a normal person. Yeah.
Fantastic. You've got 2 members of your family. You got a double whammy.
Two members. Mm-hmm.
Well,
one
actually,
is
that's the first
in Colorado, and the other one's. It's crazy.
You're the first family that has been affected in a positive way for 2 members of the family. That's a first. How brilliant! Well, you're definitely on board, aren't you? If you don't believe
my family members are starting to come out of the woodwork.
Your family, so how can they deny that? 2 of them.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? 2 separate diseases.
And 2 separate problems.
I have one chronic pain and one disease, one Crohn's disease. And we're not alone. It may be, great 2 people in my family, and I'm so happy. But I have more people, that I'm not related to, that I consider family, that are using cannabis to treat their problems. But yet I have so many people every day contacting me, asking me about Colton's story, asking me what they did or what we did to figure it out. And, I'm putting them in contact with people that can help them. And it's absolutely mind-boggling that, we did this, like I said, shot in the dark. Yep. It worked. Praise God. Yep. And now I have tons of people every day calling me and saying, do you think it will help me? And we all know that it will, and in
our hearts of hearts, we do know that, don't we? In our hearts of hearts, we know that 90%, oh God, we can't give out figures, but we know a very high percentage of people that use this, if they change their diet, and start thinking about what they're putting into their body as well, then we know that they have a very good success rate of getting over the problem that they're going through, whatever that problem might be. It's just the way that this works.
It's so crazy because when you are involved in the cannabis community, you become involved in the organic community too.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is just so free. And everyone, I went to the 420 thing in Denver. First time, freaking out, I'm thinking, geez.
Conference.
It's scary. But, there were 80,000 people there.
Wow.
And I bumped into probably 70,000 of them because I was just like mind blown, just walking and just trying to get through everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody was so nice. They were giving things away. They were like, do you want information? oh, when one person came up to me and said, "You're Wendy Turner," and I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "I've been following your son," and I'm like, "Oh, great," and everybody was just so nice.
Yeah.
Everyone in this community is so loving and so giving and wants the best for not only the people but the planet.
Yeah. And
you just don't find people like that. Around here in my own city, we're still, 100% McDonald's people. We're corn fed and Monsanto all the way. And, nobody cares about organic or what we're doing to the earth. Nobody cares. But all of these people, if you're in the cannabis community, you're not just a cannabis person. You care about the earth. You care about what's happening, when it comes to fracking and to oil because we know that cannabis can do so much more than just heal.
Oh,
we can build houses, and we have rope, and we have fuel, and we have all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. This is the bit that amazes me, Wendy, because you see, that's where I've spent the last 20 odd years, is in that hemp field. So the medicine was quite new to me. So I've learned all the other bits. So when people are finding out about the medicine, when they find out about the hemp equation, they're just going to go nuts. Because not only does it give you your life back, it will give a life. An organic, sustainable future back to the planet where we can actually live.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I just heard this, and this is rumor, but I got to tell you about it. I just heard that they were planting hemp in Japan to help get the radiation out of the soil.
Okay, we're going to take a break there, and I can pick you straight. If you want to know a little bit more about that, I've done some work with this. This plant works on that side of things. Right, take the break then, Casper. Let's pay the bills and love our sponsors.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
If you are in the Portland, Oregon area and are an OMMP card holder, then come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market, Portland, Oregon's first and only weekly OMMP market, presented by the Alternative Wellness Center, located at 5241 Southeast 72nd Avenue, 2 blocks south of Foster Boulevard, close to public transportation, held every Sunday 10 a.m. till 7 p.m., connecting quality vendors with patients. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market also has a weekly raffle with products from every vendor. So come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market and have fun while connecting with quality vendors and getting great natural medicine. If you are a vendor and want a chance to connect with OMMP patients, you can check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Alternative Wellness Center or call 971-888-4392. Be sure to register early because space is limited. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill.
Legalize it, yeah.
Relax. And burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com, or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Free? Did you say free? Free hemp? Free hemp? Free hemp video and audio? Free downloads of all the top artists, all the pot artists on planet Earth. Interviews with all the people making the movement, making the hemp movement. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp.
Right, so before we get carried away, should we give some shout-outs, Wendy? Who do you want to give some shout-outs to?
I would like to give a shout-out to Mr. Jason Cranford from the Hope Foundation.
Yeah.
He is Colton's caregiver, and he is fantastic, and we love him and what he's doing for the world. He's Waldo. We have no idea where he's at most of the time because he's going to other states and helping those states get medical marijuana laws, which I think is fantastic. And I'd like to give a shout out to the Cannabis Patient Network Institute, and that is Regina and Mark, and they're doing great works when it comes to education, and we are just so happy to have met them and to give us the education about cannabinoids and all sorts of crazy stuff. The laws, Mark is a lawmaker, and they're just great people. And we're just really happy to be involved with both of those
Well, all I can say
organizations.
if they're listening in, get them to contact us and let's get them on air. Let's find out what they're up to. Because you know what we're like. I'm nosy. I like to find out what everybody's up to. Yeah.
Jason's.
I've not come across that one before, though. And again, there's so many now, isn't there? These different cannabis sort of groups and associations and charities and foundations, and it's great. Huh?
It is. I mean, they're just growing and growing and growing, and I love it. It is we're spreading the word, and the word is getting spread, which is so great. You know, we're opening the eyes of people, and I was, you know, one of the reasons why we started 710 Canna Kids was because there's not a whole lot of kids on cannabis. And they need their day, for one. You know, 420, you guys, all of us adults have 420.
Yeah, we have
420.
420.
Something.
Yeah.
So we decided to do 710 Canna Kids. But we needed to raise awareness that kids can take this and it's okay. It's not gonna hurt them. And to actually
that's the complete
use
opposite,
that,
isn't it?
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But to use that foundation as a way to talk to the 90% of people that still have that propaganda in their head. You know, the 10%, and I think I said it before, we always preach to the choir. You know, I know that cannabis works, you know that cannabis works, but does Joey down the street know that cannabis works?
No,
probably not.
This is who we got to get to, isn't it? It's all us that all keep
And
talking
that's-
amongst ourselves, but we got to get out there now
Exactly.
and tell the people that don't know, because they need to know as well, because they're holding us back.
Right.
If anything, they don't know
Right.
that. But
Well,
they are.
I spoke to our county in our state, in Illinois, wants to build a grow house. Well, there's a group of people that want to build a grow house for the state of Illinois, and they want to do it in our county. Well, I was like, oh, great. I want to get on board with that. I will tell my story. So I went to the county board meeting and stood in front of everyone crying because they first told the story, and then I had to get up and reiterate it. And I've never heard it before. I've always told Colton's story. I've never heard it back. So that was really important for me, because I didn't realize how much of an impact he actually is and how sick he really was, because I'm living it. So I heard it back for the first time. So when it was my turn to get up to speak, I'm just in tears. And I couldn't talk. I was holding my face. I was wiping my face, and I was, doing the whole couldn't breathe thing. But I finally just said, Mr. Ferguson has got the story right. You heard Colton's cause. And I said that if you have any questions for me about cannabis, then I can answer those and be able to get over this whole, let's not think about Colton anymore, because can't handle it anymore. And so I educated our community. And that was such a great feeling for me. Because a lot of people didn't know what THC was. A lot of people didn't know that my son's not out there smoking pot. That's a big, when you're thinking about smoking it, which we completely advocate, and we understand that smoking marijuana is a great way to reduce your ailments. Yep. But Colton doesn't do that. No. So everybody, when I stood up there and said, that Colton is on cannabis and he does marijuana for his medicine, everybody's looking at me like, oh my gosh, you are giving your kid pot? That's ridiculous. So then I had to educate them of, hey, listen, we're not giving our kids pot. They're not smoking it. They're not sitting in front of the TV with their Doritos and just, choking it up. It's a totally different thing, which, a lot of people do. And that's absolutely fine. We 100% agree with that. But our kids aren't doing that. So we had to remake their thinking. They had to realize that he's a kid. He's not going to be doing that. And their perception of it had to change. Yeah. So I just answered a whole bunch of questions about what they thought it was and what they thought was going on, and just kind of changed their mind. And out of the 9 people that were sitting on that board, 2 people were missing, which I knew what their votes were going to be. But out of all those people, only one person said, no, we're not going to support this. One person.
Oh, one person had the audacity to stand up and be the one person. Yeah. Oh, my God. What
one person said,
like?
everybody else agreed. Yeah. Well, everyone else agreed that this was a good thing for the community because of us, because we educated them. And that's what we need to do. They're my 90%. Yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, I try and always go, if I give a lecture, I try to go to places where they've not quite heard the story before. Yeah. I don't like to preach to the converted. It's not that it's pointless, because then we can all learn more, and it's great to be amongst like mine. But I do like trying to get it out there where people don't quite know about it. But I'm finding more and more, because we run this thing called Hemp Works Charity UK. Someone's giving me HempWorksCharityUK.org, fantastic charity based in the UK. Yeah. I go out with them, and we go to sort of shows and things and give out information, and more people are coming to the stand and asking about this, how it works. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Old people, young people, black people, white people. It's really across the board. Yeah.
Weed does not discriminate.
No.
It helps cancer, everyone.
By the way. Yes. Neither does the cancer or these problems. 1 minute we're all tickety-boo, and the next minute we're struck down. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And this plant works.
I think that's what is so great is that, yes, you and I are sitting here. We both believe in it. And hopefully somebody, I shared that I was going to be on here with everyone that I could possibly share with. And I was hoping that somebody that doesn't understand what we've gone through, that doesn't understand the miracles of this plant, would listen. And we could get to that one person, even if it's just one. Because if we can get to that one person, then that person's going to tell somebody else.
Yep.
And then they're going to get to somebody. Yep. And that person's, and it's just going to spread. And that's what we need. We need every person in the whole world to understand that this is not a bad drug.
No.
But, we have the pharmaceuticals fighting us because, anybody can grow it. It's indigenous to every country in the world.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And more besides, Wendy. Again, some of the conversations I have, the nutritional side, 3.5 million children under the age of 5 every year die of protein starvation. Protein starvation, the best protein on the planet. Hemp seed, what grows everywhere? Hemp seed. 90 days, you can cure world starvation. It's really as simple as that. Yeah, people look at you and go, yeah, you take the seed to the country where people are hungry, you put it in the ground, 90 days later they get the seed back, and for every seed you plant you get about 5 kilos. It's just like, kids can understand it. I've actually talked to kids at the Buddha school, and I've had from 4 to 5, 6, 7, they've understood it just like that because it's so simple. It's adults that make it, or politicians and lawmakers that seem to be making it complicated. They're going it's
because most of those people understand it. They understand what they're doing. The thing is that they're looking for it for the money. And that's what is just absolutely just appalling about these people. It is. Why?
Of course it is.
Why is it okay for cancer to be $1 trillion business?
Yeah.
Cancer should not be $1 trillion business. It shouldn't be a business at all.
It should be a business, full
stop. It should be gone.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-financing at best. Yeah. If it was
say that again.
The profit is self-financing. If it broke even.
Yes.
Yeah. If it was a business that broke even, or maybe a 10% profit, nobody would moan. But we know as business people, I've run businesses, you're a business lady, right? The profit margins that they're making are absolutely obscene. And it's for a product that they're selling that doesn't even work. And it's a product that they're selling that they make people believe is going to work. So it's false trading, if nothing else. If me and you were trading in goods like this, our prospective lawmakers would come and arrest us, wouldn't they? For giving out false hope or false information. Yeah. We'd most probably be, when they found out our profit margins, nobody would ever give us any money again. Yeah. Because it's ridiculous. Bags of water, apparently, in America, these IV drips, the bags of saline water, they've been charging like $100, $200 a bag. It's £1 a bag. So how do you get the $200 once you get to the hospital? It's water. Hello, it's called saline water.
That's, and what's sad is that the cannabis industry is starting to kind of go that way too. Because people know how much money is in this. And we need to fix that. We need to make sure that the people who need the medicine are getting the medicine for a amount of money. Everybody needs to make money, and we get it. I own a business. I can't pay the mortgage if I do it for free. And I totally understand that. It needs to be, you have to sell it, your time and your money that you put into it and is worth something. So we understand that. But to sell kids oil for $1,500 to $2,000 a month is ridiculous. We don't need to be doing that. It's a seed that
grows in the ground. Wendy, believe it or not, we've just done an hour in. The hour is gone. I've just looked at the clock. It seems like we just started.
Forever.
I know. It's fantastic, isn't it? Well, look, the best love in the world. It's great to have you. Thanks for coming on at such short notice. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, and it's always good. I mean, Canna Mums, I think you're leaving the industry, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, I think it's the Canna Mums and the Canna Kids that are actually pushing this movement forward now.
Yeah. Well,
and fair play to all you mums.
Pull at your heart.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that, is it? It's just even the oldest person in the world, right? When they actually see the pictures of your kids, come on, you can't sit there in denial and go, look, no, mate, they can't have that plant. That's not. Who can do that? You'd have to be completely heartless.
You just can't deny it.
You can't deny it. Wendy, have a beautiful rest of the day, and I'll speak to you shortly. I'll follow you on Facebook. Any more news, good stuff, don't forget to keep in touch with us and keep us up to date with any things. Send my love to all the other Canna Mums if you get to speak to them. Well done. I'll send you over an archive a bit later. Job done, Mr. Casper.